Hello everyone, my name is Wyatt. Welcome to XALT Ministries today. It's been a while since I've done a video, so forgive me for being a little more rusty than normal. We're going to look at Symphony by Switch, done in the key of D sharp. We're going to actually accomplish this by doing a capo on the first fret, and we're going to play D chords. Some of my D chords are going to be a little different to help with the tone changes, to help it blend a little better. So let's look at the song real quick. Let's look at what chords we got to use. Then we'll get to our strum pattern, and we'll look at how we're going to do our chord transitions for our chorus and our verses. Alright, so let's look at our chords for this. Remember, we're doing capo, first fret, and I'm going to play D chords. I'm going to play a variation of a couple D chords, because your normal D chord would be this. I'm going to play D2 instead, which is I'm just this. Okay. And for my A, I'll be playing this, or your normal A sounds like this. Oops. I'll be playing this. Now, you'll see the reason for it here in a minute. So let's look at the D that I'm using real quick. It's called a D2, and it's going to be a mute, mute, open, 3, or 2, sorry, let's try that again. Mute, mute, open, 2, 3, open. That's a D2. And A2, you're pretty much keeping the exact same form, except you're kind of be doing like this, but we're just going to switch our fingers around. So this is the A2 that I'm doing. And that's a mute, open, 2, 2, open, open. Now listen to the difference between this. You see how it's kind of a big tonal difference besides this. Because, I mean, I could just play it like this, too. Because we're still going to keep this here open, this high E string. Keeping that open. Alright, now let's look at the other chords, which fit this real well. This is my version for the F sharp. And it's going to be a mute, 4, oops, good grief. Mute, 4, why am I doing that? Hold on. 4, 4, 2, open, open. See, I still the same open, open I did on my 2 high strings here that I did on my A2. So, oops. Okay. Now let's look at our E, which is actually just a standard E. Because we're still actually keeping these two strings here that are going to be open. So we're keeping a theme here. Alright, so our normal E is going to be an open, 2, 2, 1, open, open. Sorry. So our song is going to kind of go like this. Now I want you to notice something when I'm doing that. I am not moving this, I am not lifting this finger off whatsoever. Because for my D, I'm right here. For my F sharp, I'm here. For my E, I'm sliding down and I'm here. And the only time I move is for my A, and I really don't have to because I can just form an A like this. So if I want to, this finger will not move the entire time. So that's kind of nice when you have like a pivot finger. So that way when you're switching chords, because when you switch chords, it's a hard way to lift all your fingers up because you feel like you're resetting yourself every time. So you can, if you want to, you can play. That's actually the progression for the chorus, is a D, A, F sharp, E. If you can't do them that quick, that's okay. It just takes practice, lots of practice. So that's going to be the chords for for Symphony. And like I said, your first progression is D to the F sharp to the E, and then it's D, A, F sharp, and E for your chorus. And that's all the 2 progressions. All you're doing is adding and subtracting an A. That's pretty much it. Alright, so let's get back and let's figure out how this song is put together. Alright, so to start off on this, we're going to need to know our strum pattern, and it's going to sound a bit like this. Okay. Now our strum pattern, I know a lot of people don't understand the difference between down, up, and numbered. That's okay. I will link a video in the description that will help you know the difference or help you be able to translate the difference between the two. So looking, our strum pattern is going to be a down, and I have it, I'll put it here on the video as well. It's going to be a 1, and then you're going to skip your first and. I actually had it up on my computer. Give me a second here. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this, so give me a minute. So it's going to be having a 1. You skip your first and, so it'll be 1, 2, and 4. So 1, 2, and 4. And then you're going to have 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So let me try to do that again. So I have 1, 2, and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. That's going to be, so it's going to sound like this. Whoops. That is not the right chord. That's still not it. Okay. Now, for the, on some of our chord switches, the usual is to switch your chords during in the middle of your measure, kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 switch chord, 1, 2, 3, 4 switch back. Unfortunately, when you're doing this strum pattern, you don't have a down strum or a 1 to start off with. So in this one, instead of like say if I started on the actual second part of the measure, it'd sound like this. It's because you're starting the up strum and you don't have like that down strum start. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start the next chord one number early or on the down strum of the 4. So it's going to sound like this instead. See? Now if you notice, obviously the 1 chord sounds like it's taken on longer than the other, and that's because it is. Because I'm starting on a 4 instead of the 1. The 4 before the 1 instead of the 1 on it. Sorry if that sounds confusing. Hopefully it'll make more sense once you start playing it. Anyways, so let's get to the part of the song here. In your verse, you're just going to have D for a full measure, and then your F sharp and E are going to be half measures apiece. Of course, you can either start your E on the second part of your measure or on the 4 before it. So, as your first verse is going to be like, sometimes it's hard to breathe, all I saw say shout at me, try maybe to my knees, and it's overwhelming, and then you start back to your D. So you're going to have like, sometimes it's hard to breathe, all I saw say shout at me, try to bring me to my knees, and it's overwhelming, dark cycles all around, like everything's crashing down, sudden over hope is found, and it's only you and you. Okay, and this is where you get to that pre-chorus. It's going to be the same chord progression as your verse. So, you say you're working everything for my good, and I believe every word. And now when we get into your chorus, you're going to go to a D, A, F sharp, E instead. So you're going to throw an A onto your second half of your measure instead of playing D for a full measure. So you have a D, A, F sharp, E. Of course, I'm playing a D2 and an A2. That's just the chords I use because if you played it normal, versus, you sound the difference in the tone. It sounds more smoother. It sounds like it belongs there. So let's do the chorus. The chorus goes, I believe every word, 'cause even in the madness there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me through all this chaos. You're writing a symphony, So yeah, I'm going for my D, and then on that 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that down strum, I'm going on my A. And then I'm doing it for the rest of that measure, and then the same thing with my F sharp and my E. So I'm doing my F sharp. That's all I'm doing for the F sharp, then E. Okay? So let's go on. Your verse is going to be the same thing as your first verse. There is a rap part of a bridge, but I'm not doing that because to me, I don't know, I don't like it throughout that part of that song. I prefer the straight acoustic. So you're for your second verse, you're gonna have to my heart, to let's see here if I do this right. To my heart, to your feet, let me be your melody, even when I cannot see. Well, you orchestrate it. I don't think that word's right, but you orchestrate it. I have to look up because my wife and I were doing a duet with this, and we found out that some of the words were incorrect. So don't take that word for sure. Even when the dark surrounds, you never let me down. Still I know my hope is found in the name of Jesus. Ooh, just say a work and everything for my good. And ooh, I believe every word, 'cause even in the madness there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me through all this chaos. You're writing a symphony, symphony. Even in the madness, there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me through all this chaos. You're writing a symphony, symphony. Whoa, 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 symphony. Whoa, 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 symphony. Of course, that part usually goes on for longer. Also, I want to note a few things for the lyrical wise that have helped when my wife and I were doing a duet with this, which we will post eventually. She's much better singer than me. So, like, let's look at our first verse real quick. Sometimes it's hard to breathe. All these cells, they shout at me. That's a big mouthful to say in that. So there's one of two things you can do. You can try to say it quicker, or if you're playing the guitar or someone else is doing it, you can strum a lot slower and it will help, and it sounds better if you strum slower. So instead of strumming like this, you can do a lot slower. And it sounds better, because the funny part is, even with the chorus, they do speed up a little bit at the chorus and then kind of go back down for the verse. So they do speed up and slow down a little bit during the song. The biggest part I want to talk about is in the second part of your first verse, where it says, darkness echoes all around. Darkness echoes. The way I want to say it is, you want to say nesecos. And even though you're blending it, that will help, because there's actually about one more syllable that you need in that entire phrase. So if you try to say darkness echoes all around and say darkness echoes, it'll blend, it'll help you, instead of saying, darkness echoes. 3 words, darkness echoes, nesecos. It's weird, but it works for helping with that part. I know there's another one that is like that, but that was the biggest one we had problem with, was the darkness secos. So it's like, okay, darkness secos, nesecos. It's weird, but it kind of works that way. That's one thing I want to say for the lyrics. Take your time with the lyrics. If you have to do it, just say them a cappella and then put your music to them, so you kind of have it in you. Other than that, that's kind of how to do tutorial on how to do Symphony by Switch. There's not much to it. It's very, very simple song. Strum pattern is quite simple as well. Slow down when you first do it until you kind of get the tongue twisting lyrics a little bit right. But other than that, it sounds beautiful. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a blessed day.